it, there's no motivation whatsoever. We also want to state that a number of senior leaders in this country appeared before law enforcement agencies in the past. For those who may not be aware, President Kaunda appeared before law enforcement agencies. President Chiluba appeared before law enforcement agencies. President Banda appeared on several occasions before law enforcement agencies. President Sata appeared. The current president of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, appeared on so many occasions. It is therefore not strange that a prominent member of the public is called to appear and answer charges before a law enforcement agency. It's not strange in this country. It has happened. And I also want to state that the Archbishop of Lusaka is not the first church leader to appear before law enforcement agencies. There are so many other leaders of the churches that have appeared before law enforcement agencies. Does that entail that we are targeting those churches as government? The answer is no. Those individuals of certain holding certain positions in various churches were being held accountable in their various capacities. Nothing to do with those churches. We also want to state that this government will continue upholding and respecting the rights of individuals.
Have nothing to do with the status of the target. The rule of law says nobody is above the law. Now, this particular case has been running for some time. We seized motor vehicles in this case. Some other people that are involved, so there's a ZRA case, and then we were involved as investigators. Some people have actually been convicted because government property was taken away from government and appropriated to people, individuals. Tell me what I should do as a law enforcement officer. So we issue a call out as a starting point, asking you to come because you have been mentioned in a particular activity. We want to hear your side of the story. Look, people are dubbed criminals, people are dubbed thieves in social media and so forth. We don't want that ourselves. We are professionals. We will not call you anything until it is proved in court. So we'll call you, come over, we have a chat. But here's the sad thing. When we issue a call out,
sure, and I'll be candid, it is fake priests like Banda and the Serengeta who escalated the genocide in Rwanda to a level not seen elsewhere in the world. I want to advise Banda and the Serengeta that turning the pulpit into a political podium by way of not preaching the holy word is a devil scheme and a satanic philosophical tactic. Everyone is aware that they are at pains to see HH outliving their expectations in delivering free education, allocating 28 million CDF funds, and employing over 30,000 teachers, as well as recruiting 11,000 health workers, just to mention but a few. Banda is a Lucifer of Zambia who wants to take advantage of the citizens by promoting the PF agenda. Who doesn't know that the PF gassed citizens, promoted bloodshed, divided the country, and subjected citizens to terrorism, stole public funds, and closed media houses, among other evils. And when such evil acts were taking place, the two priests, Sarangeta and Banda, the so-called men of God, remained mute. What a hypocrisy.
When can I enter
and see the face of God?
like the deer that yearns
For running streams, so my soul is yearning for you, my God.
my soul is thirsting for God,
The Lord of my life. When can I enter and see the face of God? My tears have become my bread, by night, by day, as I hear it said all the day long. Where is your God?
These things will I remember,
As I pour out my soul, how I would lead the rejoicing crowd into the house of God. Amid cries of gladness and thanksgiving, the throng wild with joy. Why are you cast down, my soul? Why groan within me? Hope in God, I will praise him still, my Savior and my God. My soul is cast down within me, as I think of you, from the country of Jordan and Mount Hermon, from the hill of Mizah. Deep is calling on deep, in the roar of waters. Torrents and falling waves will fall. By day the Lord will send his loving kindness. By night I will sing to him. Praise the God of my life. I will say to God my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why do I go mourning, oppressed by the foe?
Point in time, as I've said already,
okay,
I've not come across a single man in politics who is today thinking of spreading Zambia.
okay,
Apart from this is my head man in Zimbabwe, this is the southern province. He tried to do that, I think, but he didn't succeed.
okay, so we,
No, I think he will finish it as well.
okay,
This is my southern province. What is he? The man who is running his party.
which one? Magande?
No. Oh, no.
He comes from Southern Province.
Southern province, yes. This man who is he?
Hakainde Hichilema.
Akainde.
Mhm.
Akainde.
Hakainde Hichilema.
Hichilema.
Mhm.
The one-
Hakainde Hichilema.
Who running his
UPND.
independent side.
Mhm.
Apart from that, there is no other leader I can fear to run this country. All these others who are running parties, I can't see any one of them.
Then they're saying, no, we are not allowing HH and UPND to amend the constitution. The question is why? Because there are lacunas in there. Is it the first government to amend the constitution? No. Who else amended the constitution? In this manner, UNIP government. UNIP government. Bamuzungu is here. Bakurumpe. He was there. Institutional memory. UNIP amended the constitution. The argument is that why you amend the constitution now? So when is the right time? What does the Constitution say? It's silent. UNIP amended the Constitution in 1991. Limbina Mulava. In the election year. 1991, in the election year. People celebrated. 1996, MMD under President Chiluba, Aka Red and Aka Black. May his soul rest in peace. Right? Yes, that man did a lot of things to turn the country from a wrong direction, in my view. I don't want to debate this. May his soul rest in peace. We don't appreciate a lot of things he did to move us downhill into a positive trajectory. 1996, the MMD and the FDJ amended the Constitution in the election year. There was no problem, no street fights. Same organizations didn't go in the streets. By Kalafi Fidia Tondolo, and the Constitution is being amended. No street fights. 2016, under PF, the Constitution was amended. Right? Election year. In January, the election was in August. They amended the Constitution. No one went in the streets. We were aggrieved as UPND. And I told my members, no one goes in the streets. Let's vote in Parliament. We voted and lost in Parliament. I never allowed our members to go in the streets. UPND, this man they don't like, for whatever reason. Right? You know, this level of hatred is shocking. Right? You can see that there's venom here. You can even touch it. There's venom here. We go to amend the Constitution using the same law, using the same Constitution, which was applied, clauses which were used before. It says, no, we don't want. The timing is wrong. But what about those other timings when it was amended? What was right? Why didn't you go in the streets? Ask yourselves a question. So you want to start conflict over nothing. Fellow citizens, let us act godly. After all, we are a Christian nation. Let us act in a godly manner. Let us not overexpose our hatred of others for crimes some of us did not commit. I know. I've come a long way myself. I know the feelings of a certain section of the people. I didn't choose where to be born. Neither did you. None of us should serve a sentence for a crime they did not commit. In 2021, one priest issued a statement. Chawamanga twachita election, kuchila kuti abawambita tulefaya bakateke. Encouraging the government then to rig the election so that UPND and this president does not come into office. It's there. And this, I told my members, no one goes in the streets. Let's vote in Parliament. We voted and lost in Parliament. I never allowed our members to go in the streets. UPND, this man they don't like, for whatever reason. Right? You know, this level of hatred is shocking. Right? You can see that there's venom here. You can even touch it. There's venom here. We go to amend the Constitution using the same law, using the same Constitution, which was applied, clauses which were used before. It says, no, we don't want. The timing is wrong. But what about those other timings when it was amended? What was right? Why didn't you go in the streets? Ask yourselves a question. So you want to start conflict over nothing. Fellow citizens, let us act godly. After all, we are a Christian nation. Let us act in a godly manner. Let us not overexpose our hatred of others for crimes some of us did not commit. I know. I've come a long way myself. I know the feelings of a certain section of the people. I didn't choose where to be born. Neither did you. None of us should serve a sentence for a crime they did not commit. In 2021, one priest issued a statement. Chawamanga twachita election, kuchila kuti abawambita tulefaya bakateke. Encouraging the government then to rig the election so that UPND and this president does not come into office. It's there. And this thing starts all over again. This is not fair. This is not correct. We need to thank the Catholic Church through their bishops for rejecting Bill 10, for providing leadership in rejecting Bill 10. We need to thank the Catholic Church through their bishops for rejecting Bill 10, for providing leadership in rejecting Bill 10.
Thank you very much for all that are joining us on Sunday, on this day, Sunday, the 4th of January 2025. Thank you very much. Today we continue with the debate around the summoning of the Archbishop, the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Jack Mwamba, issued a statement. I've just played the video where he said he was responding to the Catholic bishops who had said this is an attack on the church, this is an attack on her leadership. The church was very categorical that there has been coordinated and systematic attack against the church in general, and particularly against Archbishop Alec Banda. If you see the patterns from 2021, it is clear that President Hakainde Hichilema is determined to attack the church. So they've seen this call out in the broader context, not in the issue of the rule of law. So Jack Mwamba was responding. Like Nelson Banda, he was also saying, I'm Catholic. I have no reason to attack my own church. Well, your own president has reasons to attack the church. This is what briefly Jack Mwamba said, and this will be our crunch of debate today. I'll invite you to make your phone calls as we discuss this matter. Just listen to Jack Mwamba.
With the Catholic Church, what would motivate us to target the Catholic Church? None at all. I am a Catholic myself. Why would I target my church if it said the government is targeting the Catholic Church? None. I'm a faithful, law-abiding citizen, a Catholic for that matter. So there's no need, there's no motivation whatsoever. We also want to state that a number of senior leaders in this country appeared before law enforcement agencies in the past. For those who may not be aware, President Kaunda appeared before law enforcement agencies. President Chiluba appeared before law enforcement agencies. President Banda appeared on several occasions before law enforcement agencies. President Sata appeared. The current president of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, appeared on so many occasions. It is therefore not strange that a prominent member of the public is called to appear and answer charges before a law enforcement agency. It's not strange in this country. It has happened. And I also want to state that the Archbishop of Lusaka is not the first church leader to appear before law enforcement agencies. There are so many other leaders of the churches that have appeared before law enforcement agencies. Does that entail that we are targeting those churches?
Yes, true. There are so many leaders that have appeared before law enforcement agencies, and they were all in harassment of what you suspected were donations by former President Edgar Lungu. You attacked and searched the synod of the United Church of Zambia because you thought they built that church, their head office, from money from President Edgar Lungu. You had no idea that ordinary UCZ members were donating money for years to build that synod headquarters that is in Woodlands. You've attacked Archbishop Alik Banda because you think the donation is coming from a directive of Edgar Lungu. Somehow the thread has to begin and end up at Edgar Lungu. Even when you have been shown Nelson Banda, and is purporting to be a Catholic, he knows the truth. Nelson Banda knows that he first handled this matter in 2022. He knows that he summoned the bishop on this vehicle. And the bishop, through his lawyer, John Sangwa, cooperated. He knows Nelson Banda is being duplicitous, is being deceitful in his approach to this. He knows that he has a letter from John Sangwa, the lawyer who represented Archbishop Alik Banda. He knows the communication that took place. He knows that this vehicle it is not among the 22 vehicles that Kingsley Chanda was prosecuted for. He knows. He knows that this vehicle was bought by an employee from an internal process of disposal of assets. He knows. Nelson Banda is being mischievous. Nelson Banda is a collaborator to oppress the church. Jack Mwimbu knows the details of this vehicle. Jack Mwimbu knows who bought the vehicle, the young man that bought the vehicle. They are saying, no, the blue book is in his name. Ask car dealers if any of the cars that they buy from South Africa or Europe, Singapore, and China, if those vehicles are ever in their name, don't they wait for the final buyer for them to change ownership? How can that be a valid issue that because a book is in the name of the president? There are many cars I've bought in my life. Some I've never even changed title. I only realize that I need to change title maybe when I'm disposing of that vehicle. So their argument just fits in what the church is saying. This is an attack on the church. So let me be very clear. Since this matter started, Nelson Banda knows the details. He handled the details. He liaised with the lawyer for the Archbishop. Even when the Archbishop saw that this was nonsense and they were just trying to find a reason and he decided not to claim the vehicle from DC, they know. All of a sudden, they've resurrected the matter that they dealt with comprehensively. I've seen the argument that matters are in court, including Nelson Banda, who claimed that people have been convicted. No one has been convicted over the theft of that motor vehicle or any motor vehicle. Kingsley Chanda and Kaoma have been convicted on separate charges. They are being accused that they didn't follow procedure when disposing of those 22 vehicles. It has not been established that the vehicles have been stolen. Kingsley Chanda is facing an offense of abuse of office that he didn't follow procedure in disposing of the 22 vehicles. One of the 22 vehicles was bought by an individual. There were auctions from the staff that bought those vehicles. They've not pursued any of the staff that bought the vehicles, but they've singled out a vehicle that went to Archbishop Alik Banda. Why? Is in the radius of their interest. This is the strongest voice they have against their abuse and misgovernance. They want to steal the 2026 elections in peace. They don't want vocal people to speak against the ills that are going on at the Electoral Commission of Zambia. They want silence when they are abrogating all the laws. They want acceptance of the illegal constitution. They've changed illegally the constitutional order of our country. They don't want you to raise it. They want you to accept it is law. It's like when the thief comes into your house It wants you to accept that it has a right to take your property. Now, what is shocking me is the disposition and argument from both Jack Mwamba and Nelson Banda. Jack Mwamba has said the church is wrong. They are not attacking an individual. Now, who forms the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops? Sometimes we our bishop, we don't even know who ordained them. We don't even know where they get their doctorates and others. No. Who forms the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops? You have Dr. Archbishop Alik Banda, who heads the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Lusaka. You have Bishop George Cosmas Zumaire Lungu, who's a bishop of Chipata. You have Bishop Evans Chinyama Chinyemba, OMI, who is a bishop of Mongu. You have Bishop Valentine Kalumba, OMI, Bishop of Livingstone. You have Bishop Raphael Mwempwa, Bishop of Monze. You have Bishop Benjamin Espiri, Archbishop of Ndola, the latest Archbishop they have. Remember, we only had Alik Banda and Ignatius Chama. But now there is Benjamin Espiri who has joined them. Then we have emeritus bishops. These are the bishops that are now of age, and a bishop really never retires. They can be called upon any time to work with the Lord, to work, to provide advice. So they remain emeritus, meaning even if they are in retirement, they are active. So we have emeritus bishop, Bishop Raymond Mpenzele, Bishop Emeritus of Livingstone. We have Bishop Noel Charles Oregon, Bishop Emeritus of Ndola. We have Bishop Severina Abdon Potani, Bishop Emeritus of Solwezi. Then you have Archbishop Teles Fompundu, Emeritus. This is a group that forms the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. So you want to teach them law. You want to teach them the rule of law. You want to teach them history of this country. You think they are not aware? For them to categorically state that this is an attack on the church, you think they are not aware about how a call-out is issued? You are assuming that they don't know that when a call-out is issued against purported crimes, that they don't know what that means. Hasn't the church allowed priests and others to be prosecuted in this country? They've allowed. You even have had conviction of priests. The church is very, very resolute against wrongdoing. And remember, it has just survived, attacks across the world when some priests either allowed sexual misconduct or participated in sexual misconduct. The church is healing from there. You think they don't know what wrongdoing is? President Hakainde Hichilema, don't treat them, and Jack Mwamba, you purport to be a Catholic. Don't treat them like children. They know the rule of law when there is one. They know what the law says when there is one. They know when to give you space if one of them has committed an offense. It is very clear here there is no offense. You at State House, Koswe Media, has run the dirtiest smear campaign I've ever seen on Edgar Lungu and on Archbishop Alik Banda. Their crime, you don't like them. You have destroyed the Patriotic Front because, Hichilema, you just don't want to see the PF. You have stolen the Patriotic Front. You have destroyed the Patriotic Front. You are attempting to kill it. Why? Because it's associated with Edgar Lungu. Umlandu Bach Tabalik Banda is because he's perceived to be close to the late president. Remember, the family has even appointed him, one as mediator, number two, that is the one to officiate. Those were the express wishes of the late president that Dr. Alik Banda should officiate at the funeral of the late president. Now, the funeral of the late president will attract dignitaries, presidents from the region. Hichilema can't stomach that. He can't allow that funeral to take place. A funeral of Edgar Lungu, where he will not be around, where Archbishop Alik Banda will officiate, you think he will allow that funeral to take place? He will not. That is the reason, to date, Edgar Lungu still lies unburied, still lies, in a very, very unfortunate circumstance. Why? Because the man at State House won't allow that humiliation. It's never about anyone. It's about himself. Each of our chuli Alik Banda is his so-called perceived relationship with the late president. So the funeral won't take place, because one of the express wishes of the family is that other than President Hakainde Hichilema not to be available at that funeral, Archbishop Alik Banda is the one to superintend over that funeral, to say mass or prayer over that funeral, like he did at that memorial in South Africa. President Hakainde Hichilema would not allow that. Why have the bishops termed what should be an ordinary law enforcement process an attack on the church and an attack on our leadership? It's very simple. Because number one, they are aware that President Hakainde Hichilema has relentlessly tried to remove the Archbishop of Lusaka. Remember, he removed, let me play the video of the bishop from the SDA, the president of the SDA on the Copper Belt, Dr. Chabu. He removed him. Why? Because this pastor dared to tell the truth in a sermon where President Hakainde Hichilema was present. Let me look for that video quickly. I'll go back to Jack Mwamba as I'm looking for this video.
With the Catholic Church. What would motivate us to target the Catholic Church? None at all. I am a Catholic myself. Why would I target my church if it said the government is targeting the Catholic Church? None. I'm a faithful, law-abiding citizen, a Catholic for that matter. So there's no need, there's no motivation whatsoever. We also want to state that a number of senior leaders in this country appeared before law enforcement agencies in the past. For those who may not be aware, President Kaunda appeared before law enforcement agencies. President Chiluba appeared before law enforcement agencies.
I've said they are little frightened men. Why do I say that? They are little frightened men because of what they have done against the people of Zambia. They have committed many crimes by stealing from the people of Zambia. The people of Zambia know this. And at my many rallies, I have proposed, when we come back into power, into government, the establishment of a truth commission after the one, like the one in South Africa. Why do I say this? We have raised many important questions about our country, the governance of our country, accountability, transparency. The very things they promised Zambians are absent from the political scene today in Zambia. We have asked, who is selling our copper? Who is selling our cobalt, our emeralds? We don't know. Nobody answers. We have asked questions about Meridian Bank, a major bank in Zambia and in Africa, perhaps Europe. this bank was thinking. The President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Chiluba, his Minister of Finance, Mr. Penza, promised to save that bank by pumping into that bank $83 million, which is the equivalent of 83 billion kwacha, a local currency. 1 week, they're saying that. The very following week, which is the bank was closed. So we ask, where is the $83 million? Everybody's silent. They won't tell us. Now, you see, this is part of the problem. We have asked them, who is selling parastatals? To whom? By how much? Where is the money? We meet with a blank wall.
And why certain things are important and why we as Zambia Must Prosper have decided to address this issue. Government protocols on the arrests of senior party government officials, for example, ministers or permanent secretaries, demands that the president must be informed before a minister or a permanent secretary can be arrested or questioned by any law enforcement agency. Previously, when government was being run in the First Republic and Second Republic, government institutions normally would report the Secretary to the Cabinet so that the executive arm of government is removed from what is being done. However, you members of the press will recall that during the UPND regime, a law was passed not too long ago when all institutions of law enforcement were put under State House. You will remember that. So today, whenever you see the Police Act, the Drug Enforcement Act, ACC Act, it is with the direct participation of State House. Do not be cheated. This summons to the Archbishop is a direct instruction from State House.
And no one will take away that. They may have their own weaknesses and whatever failures, but they brought that and we are happy about it. We don't want to go back to one party. There came the PF. They brought patriotism. It's in their name. Patriotic Front. Patriotism. That desire for you to have the love for your nation and support things that have to do with your nation. If they missed out, it's their own fault. But they are a group of people who are patriotic. If you knew Michael Sata, I'm sure you know about that. You know about that. Very patriotic. Here we are now with UPND. What shall we remember you for? Remember, governments come and go. Very soon, you will also be in history. And people will be reading the records of your time. What will people...
That's Dr. Webster Chawe, Copperbelt SDA president. He was saying that powerful sermon, mentioning the Patriotic Front, saying that they were a patriotic group, and telling President Hakainde Hichilema on the UPND that they've come to do development, but to also go like the previous parties. You can imagine President Hakainde Hichilema. You can imagine, he wasn't just slighted, he was infuriated. And that humble man, that Dr. Webster Chawe, SDA president of the Copperbelt, was forced, before his term could come to an end, the following week, he was forced to resign. All the information we have was that President Hichilema was so annoyed because just after that sermon, He went into the vestry. The vestry is an office at the church, and blasted the man of God. He thought he was sympathetic to the PF. And the man is pure SDA, just a man who loves God, and was removed. So, Jack Mwamba wants us to believe that what he is doing to Dr. Alik Banda is just a routine law enforcement process. No, it is not. The bishops, the Catholic bishops, know all the facts. Don't treat them like children. They know that you've been dealing with this matter for the last 2 years. They are aware that the vehicle was surrendered if there was an issue, because the Catholic can afford it. There are many faithfuls that can, and that's a second-hand vehicle. It's not even a brand new vehicle. It's among the derelict, obsolete vehicles that were being disposed of. This matter was dealt with conclusively. Letters written between DEC and the lawyer for Archbishop Alik Banda, John Sangwa. But you decide to revive it, and you want us to believe that it's a rule of law process, that no one is above the law. And let's just go through the circumstances under which the people you named were called to by law enforcement agencies. Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, first there was a search on him just after he left office in 1991. Because remember, the rhetoric before elections, because Dr. Kaunda was close to many presidents. And that October, remember, that's a year there was a war, the first war with Saddam Hussein, the first attack by George Bush Sr. And President Kaunda is the last president that was there before the Americans could bomb Baghdad. Few days, two days after Dr. Kaunda left, because Keke was trying to mediate between the Americans and Saddam Hussein. And remember, Los Angeles Road, the one behind State House, was Saddam Hussein Road. Saddam Hussein was very close to Dr. Kaunda and UNIP, and they would supply them of oil. And remember, there are two embassies, Iraq and Iran, had embassies in our country. So Dr. Kaunda was very, very close. When he lost power a month later, Dr. Kaunda was accused of having stolen $4 billion. Remember, there was a famous rally where Mr. Michael Sata, who was the Minister of State under Dr. Kaunda, came and made allegations at the Kawata rally, one of the mass rallies that the MMD then was having. And he says, I'm Kaunda's minister. I just left last week. I know what I'm talking about. Kaunda has stashed $4 billion. And he has an arms cache in Vubwi, where they have a farm. Remember the famous farm? If older people would remember, what's the name of that farm that belongs to Panji, was accused, Mr. Sata accused him of having an arms cache, that in the event that the UNIP lost elections, that there was going to be an insurrection and rebellion. Remember, there was even a pastor, a young pastor, very vibrant pastor, who was preaching Zambia must be saved, and he was Zambia's first televangelist. Also made claims that if we voted for MMD, there would be bloodshed. He was supporting Dr. Kaunda. So, just a digress, I love to speak to history. So, and when he lost power, there was a belief that Dr. Kaunda had $4 billion. There was a belief that there was an arms cache at his Sindamisale farm. Is it Sindamisale? Someone in the comments tell me. That was the first search that they did in Kaunda's office. And they only found that Dr. Kaunda, he had moved to a private home belonging to a Mr. Chanda. That Dr. Kaunda had books that were stamped State House, but they were just ordinary reading books. So the 8 books, because they had the stamp of State House, is what they got from there. Politician. There was no $4 billion. When they searched Keke's account, he had an equivalent of $8,000 after being president for 27 years. The next time Dr. Kaunda was of interest to the state was after the 1997 coup, because Captain Solo, Jack Chitty, and the politicians who were around him, who were around the suggested coup d'etat in 1997, Roger Chongwe, who was former Minister of Justice, prominent lawyer, Zadeko leader Dean Mwamba, and others were accused of having been the political machinery to that coup that was done by Captain Solo. So there was a suggestion amongst themselves, the gentlemen from Zadeko. One stated that we were going to make President Kaunda as leader. Because remember, we went to an election in 1996 where Dr. Kaunda was barred from participating. There was a constitutional amendment that was done. It was a highly controversial constitutional amendment that barred Dr. Kaunda. And Dr. Kaunda didn't participate in the 1996 election. And there was an electoral petition by Akashamba Twambikusta Leonika, who actually tried to use the same constitution against Dr. Chiluba. Because remember, the reason Dr. Kaunda was not allowed to participate was that he had foreign parentage. And there was a clause that was introduced in the constitution that unless you were born in Zambia and both your parents were born in Zambia. So this particular clause targeted Dr. Kaunda, who had never hidden that his parents were Malawians and had come to settle in Zambia in 1909. He never hid. He was born in Zambia in 1924, but it was never a matter of secret that Dr. Kaunda's parents came from, both of them came from Malawi. It was never hidden, but the MMD in 1996 decided to amend the constitution because Dr. Kaunda decided to come back to politics. So there was a controversial election and political tension that culminated in a coup attempt in 1997, in October 1997. So when the politicians were rounded up, Roger Chongwe escaped, went to Australia. Azo Banda escaped, went to South Africa. Dean Mwamba was not lucky. He was locked up. And from the interrogation, Dr. Kaunda's name came up. So on Christmas Day in 1997, Dr. Kaunda was picked up in connection to that coup d'etat, and it brought an uproar. Immediately, Nelson Mandela came on, Sadiq, Mugabe, and they had to ask around, who does this man who's president in Zambia respect? So someone whispered that he's a big admirer of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. So the elders in the region then sent President Julius Nyerere, who President Frederick Chiluba revered. Because remember, in his early formation, Dr. Chiluba had worked in the sisal plants in Tanzania for many years, for about 4 or 5 years. So he was an admirer of the things that were taking place in Tanzania. And the leaders learned that one of his biggest role model was Julius Nyerere. So Julius Nyerere traveled to our country. Dr. Kaunda was locked up in Mukobeko maximum prison. He's a former president, and there were fears, and the country was very fragile, coming from an election in 1996 where we had amended the constitution illegally, following a coup d'etat attempt. So the fragility of the state was at its highest. So they feared to keep President Kaunda in Lusaka. They took him to Mukobeko maximum prison. And the one who brokered that peace was Julius Nyerere when he arrived. Dr. Kaunda was on hunger strike, and when he arrived, Julius Nyerere, if you've seen those nice old pictures, he went and sat in the cell where Dr. Kaunda was, and he said, "I am not leaving until we have a meal together." So Julius Nyerere broke the hunger strike for Dr. Kaunda. Dr. Kaunda has always maintained that those were trumped-up charges from a political opponent who was afraid of him. His crime was just to try to come back to politics. Shortly after that, Dr. Kaunda was moved to his house in Kalundu, which was then gazetted as a prison, and he was put under house arrest. And later, released on a nole, and Dr. Kaunda maintained his innocence. Arrest of Dr. Chiluba, you know the story. There was an insecure president in Levi Mwanawasa who alleged allegations and allegations. None of them made it to the allegations on which President Frederick Chiluba's immunity was lifted. Never made it into court. Instead, after alleging that Dr. Chiluba had stolen millions and millions of dollars, they took a case that he had stolen $500,000. Now, in their investigations, they even found that, in fact, to accuse him that he was buying things and money from an intelligence account, they established the two big audit firms, and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema knows it because his Grant Thornton UK, not Zambia, UK, is one of the organizations that did an audit, and PricewaterhouseCoopers at the time did an audit and established that Dr. Chiluba had $8.5 million of his own money in the account. Donations made for the party or to himself. Remember, he had put up a decision to set up an institute, and he had donations from his colleagues, from Bakili Muluzi, from Muammar Gaddafi, from Dos Santos, and other president, al-Bashir from Sudan. So they found all these deposits amounting to $8.5 million. So how could the man, you accuse him that he stole shoes and he got some money, how could he have stolen if he himself had over $9 million private donations that were made to him? Again, was that process okay? Michael Sata, 2001. Like I said, there's an insecure president, and Michael Sata is already working with Frederick Chiluba, and Mwanawasa was very insecure. So he got Mr. Sata and locked him up for about 90 days on charges of motor vehicle theft. Motor vehicle theft was not bailable at the time, but the director of intelligence came and testified that Mr. Sata didn't steal the vehicle. Mr. Sata has always been an asset of the intelligence. And they said they had given him, like they give many people, and they said they couldn't breach the trust to state who they give these assets to. And Mr. Mwanawasa was embarrassed with that. And the DPP, as soon as the facts became clear, in fact, Mr. Sata was acquitted in 2010 when there was fears of the donations that Mr. Sata had received, 2 vehicles that he couldn't account for, to the DEC. This was under Rupia Banda. Mr. Sata went with GBM, and GBM testified to DEC that these vehicles you are talking about, it's me who donated. Look at my income, look at my revenue, look at what I make from my business. This is nothing. And there was tear gas because DEC at the time in 2010 didn't want Mr. Sata to be accompanied by anyone. So there was, the police as usual misconducted themselves. Look at Hakainde Hichilema, the famous one, the treason trial, the vehicles, the 2 vehicles challenging the presidential motorcade in Mongu, on the Mongoli-Mulunga Road, and he was locked up for 127 days and he was put at Mukobeko. Are these examples that Jack Mimbo wants to give us? Were they done legitimately? Weren't all of them, if you go case by case, you will see that it was oppression by the state of political opponents. We never learn anything from history. We want history to repeat itself in the dastard of details. We don't want to make our country better. We don't want to say a wrong done by Kaunda cannot be repeated by Chiluba. A wrong done by Chiluba cannot be repeated by Mwanawasa. A wrong done by Mwanawasa cannot be repeated by Rupia Banda. A wrong done by Sata, by Rupia Banda, cannot be repeated by Sata. A wrong done by Sata cannot be repeated by Edgar Lungu. A wrong done by Edgar Lungu cannot be repeated by Hakainde Hichilema. We want the wrongs to perpetuate. So Ladies and gentlemen, I can open the phone lines. You are welcome to make your contributions. Today we are discussing this call. Let me just read. The Lusaka Archdiocese have called for a special service tomorrow, special mass in solidarity of Archbishop Alik Banda. You are invited to be there at 8 o'clock. Jack Mwimbu is already threatening and breathing fire. Wabantu bakwalesa kafweni ababomfi bakwalesa kafweni. There's something I wrote here. Let me read it. Because Ichilema is a constitutional delinquent. He doesn't fear the constitution. He breaks it with wanton abandonment. But I touched something from a spiritual perspective. I said the Bible tells us that touch not the anointed and do not mistreat a widow. Mr. Ichilema is guilty of both. He keeps on touching the anointed, as in Dr. Webster Chabwe, punished just for preaching a sound message. And look at how he's treating the former First Lady, Mama Esther Lungu, where he won't allow her to bury her husband. The Bible warns against mistreating a widow in Exodus 20 to 24. And it explicitly states that God will hear the cry of the widow. And he will bring severe, the Bible says, severe punishment upon the oppressor. And I said, see what President Hakainde Hichilema is doing to Mama Esther Lungu. And then see what he has done to men of God. He jailed Pastor Duncan Simuchimba. What did Simuchimba do? Simuchimba was just speaking for those marketeers at Sokone Market whose stores were raised down. And he felt, Pastor Duncan Simuchimba, that it was wrong because the council had allocated those trading spaces. The council had even been collecting levies and issued licenses. How could then just claim that these trading spaces were illegal and demolished the properties of traders? He was locked up 9 months. And then I cited the case of the SDA Copper Board President, Dr. Webster Chave, who was removed for his incisive, sound sermon on practicing humility and accepting that leadership comes and goes, and it's better to be, to exercise humility. President Hakainde Hichilema has waged a relentless war against Lusaka Archbishop Dr. Alik Banda. He has subjected him to the worst online abuse by his own State House rogue media, Koswe. And President Hakainde Hichilema's own Secretary General, President Hakainde Hichilema is president of UPND. Batuke Imenda is the Secretary General of their party. Batuke Imenda said Alik Banda is a Lucifer of Zambia. Did President Hakainde Hichilema punish Batuke Imenda? In fact, they celebrated looking at what they did on their newspaper, the online newspaper. State House was celebrating the speech of Batuke Imenda. There was some apology, where the so-called 7 Catholic ministers flew to Kasama to apologize for their remarks. But there was no public apology from Batuke Imenda. There was no punishment by President Hakainde Hichilema. In fact, when Sean Tembo moved to punish, to ensure that the law visited Batuke Imenda, President Hakainde Hichilema and the DPP protected Batuke Imenda, and the process was discontinued. The Bible is very clear. Touch not the anointed. Psalm 105:15. And it has repeated in 2 verses, two books, and in 1 Chronicles 16 verse 22. It commands God's protection and God's chosen people, patriarchs and prophets. And it warns against harming those that he has set apart, the Lord has set apart himself for divine purposes. The Lord protects them. You know, these are his covenanted people, and he warns the kings that oppress his servants. So kings and rulers, you are warned, touch not the anointed. But abantu tabakwatana katina, tabatine ulupapulo lwachalo, tabatina lesa. Let's hear from you, Mwantu Wakwalesa. Make a call.
And no one will take away that. They may have their own weaknesses and whatever failures, but they brought that and we are happy about it. We don't want to go back to one party. There came the PF. They brought patriotism. It's in their name. Patriotic Front. Patriotism. That desire for you to have the love for your nation and support things that have to do with your nation. If they missed out, it's their own fault. But they are a group of people who are patriotic. If you knew Michael Sata, I'm sure you know about that. You know about that. Very patriotic. Here we are now with you, PND. What shall we remember you for? Remember, governments come and go. Very soon, you will also be in history. And people will be reading the records of your time. What will people remember you for? Before you beat about everywhere, go back to your name. Your giant is in your name. Unity and national development. And national development is so broad. Unity is also so broad. Dig into that and ensure by the time you are leaving the stage, we can point and at national.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Mrs. Williams, and I'm calling you from Northwestern Province, Solwezi.
Thank you very much. Make your contribution, my sister.
My contribution is that when I was growing up, I went to a Catholic school. And for me to say that I went to the Catholic school, I'm actually saying that it's a very disappointing thing to see that the very Catholics who have come to our country to uplift the living standards of every Zambian. By this I mean, when we look at the way the landscape of Zambia is, 50% of most of the schools that came in with the missionaries are Catholic schools. I'll give an example of Central Province. In Central Province, we've got St. Paul's. At St. Paul's, we have got so many people that were trained by the Catholics. And we've got Dominican Convent in Indola. We've got Witikila. We've got Caritas Convent. We've got Kasisi. Now, these people, they've got families. These people, they've got children who trust the Catholics so much. Now, if the government of the day, if the elders of today, I'll give an example of what happened today. The Minister of Home Affairs went on to say that what we are doing to the clergy tomorrow is not actually persecution. But if it is not persecution, why did they pick any other person that received any gift from the former government and just picking on the Catholic? To me, that is a direct persecution to the Catholic. To me, that is a direct persecution to the body of Christ. And what they are forgetting is 16% of the people that are voting are Catholics. The same Catholics that they are persecuting, they've brought in so much investment. Most of the hospitals that we have in our country, it's the Catholics. And they are actually contributing to the well-being of our country, to the health sector. On top of that, most of the Catholics here in the country, they're not even Zambians. Most of them are foreigners. And they're helping the youth. They are helping the less privileged in society. So for them to attack the priest, it's not the right time. In fact, the person that is even advising the president should sit down to say what they did is very wrong. They shouldn't do that to this generation. They would have waited.
Thank you, my sister. I think you've made your point. Yeah, thank you, my sister. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Sencho Banda.
Honorable Sencho Banda, my dear brother, make your contributions.
Yeah, for me, I think I'll narrow down my comment with the briefing which was held by the consortium of NGO who had a press briefing this morning. For me, the debate is not about whether the law should apply to a clergyman. I think it's about who suddenly discovers the law, when and against whom. The real issue here is credibility and not legality. So really for me, what I think, civil society exists to scrutinize power and not to echo it. And when you see, like it happened today when an NGO speaks in perfect harmony with the states on sensitive political issues, they stop being the watchdog. You know, at that point, they become the surrogates of power and not defending the public interest. And what was very interesting is that they use the same mantra which the supporters of UPND and the government over this matter are using. They said no one is above the law. Yes, indeed, it's a fact that no one is above the law. And this particular mantra is a powerful constitutional principle, but it becomes meaningless when it's applied selectively. If this slogan is used against critics and not against political connected actors, you know, it turns to be a political weapon. And you know, Zambia is awash with documented corruption scandals, billion flagged by the FIG, serious findings about the Auditor General's office. These scandals affect everyday lives, the hospitals, the schools, and the jobs. Yet, a civil society suddenly finds the loudest voice over a used vehicle linked to the clergy. You know, what is clear is that what we are witnessing is symbolic accountability. It looks tough, but it avoids the real center of power. I think the approach creates the illusion of rule of law when it's hollow in its in its practice. So for me, Mwamba, ordinary Zambians are not naive. Too many Zambians, and this does not look like a serious anti-corruption fight. It is an intimidation of decent views, especially of a institution like the Church, the Catholic, that have a history of speaking the truth to the power. So in my conclusion, allow me to say that civil society credibility is earned through consistency and courage. And when an NGO like those which parade themselves today defend the state more passionately than it challenges it, their independency is compromised. So that invites a simple question.
Those are echo chambers, my dear brother. Those are echo chambers of the state. Those are echo chambers of the state. You saw them on Bill 7. Same groupings. You know, the real civil society have not spoken. Those are echo chambers of the state, like you've described them. You know, if you have trade union speaking for management and the workers, then you know that trade union leadership is bought.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Honorable Sencho Banda.
All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Sinyangwe Dani here. Ambassador Mwamba, I like your intro to this, how you took us back to history, because abantu batubufi olo balafayo kutuchita tulimbita twakwata amano ebakweta amano ebachenjela bali abajja kumbulo bachisa lero balepira my example aya kusetinya abantu webantu amazambians. Before I even give my contribution, let us go back and find ourselves at peace. Let us continue praying for the Lungu family. No family should ever be put in the way the Lungu family have gone through and what they are going through. Tuilala boku bapepera family yaba Lungu. Then, webantu, the bishop is not just an ordinary person. He's a leader of a church organization. Not only a church organization, but one of the biggest religious bodies in this world. So when they are trying to make it look like, no, no, this is just like any other ordinary person. They should not be lying. The bishop is not an ordinary person. You know, when you are a leader of a church, trust me, Mwamba, you are even much bigger than even a country president, because the church embraces everyone. So not to wepa no kutupanga tulifipuba, and then making it look like the case is not a political call. But what we need to understand is we are fed up of them lying to us and making us feel like we are foolish. Mwebantu, as you are listening to Mwamba, can we yield to the call to say, this is our call? If what is being done to the bishop, Maironiwewo, that's why my cry, and every day I say, Mwebantu, can't wombele chapamo for the sake of our country, Zambia. Let us choose a leader who's going to remove this kind of nonsense. God bless Zambia. God bless you, Mwamba. And my allegiance is Zambians. Let's choose one leader who's going to work with everyone. Will you lead and I'll continue saying it. Thank you, Mwamba. God bless you.
Aho lero tulanda pantungurushi mwilate mona ma leaders mwe bantu wakolesa mwalande terela the debate will go to the issue of leadership. So let's stick to the topic at hand. Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Tata Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening, Maya.
Mkwainina Mumbipiri.
Honorable Mumbipiri, Walishanu Amdala.
Our way is getting better every day.
Oh, we thank God. We thank God.
Tata Mwamba, it makes me sad listening to the press briefing Yaba Jack Mwimbo. Tatas by Catholic faith. Some of these Catholics who even call themselves Catholics, are they in good standing with the church? In Mwamba, I was born UCZ. I got married to St. Ignatius, who was a Catholic. I wasn't allowed to receive Holy Communion because I wasn't part of them. When you are not in good standing, you are not a Catholic, na doctrine bamwababalanda tabaishwa. That's why sometimes you see, today I posted this question on our MCC because in Chilenkaripa. Bamwambanga muleibukisha twa father twa father Chilinda stopped Basata from receiving Holy Eucharist. And there was a controversy because he wasn't in good standing with the church. Ushaba bale tuntum fya pachifuba. Abale chita defend if you are wrong. But Jack Mwimbo, I challenge you. Are you in good standing with the church? Are you receiving the Holy Eucharist? Do you believe in the doctrine of Catholics? Because you can't say we are isolating a bishop is an individual. You can't say that. And do you know that Catholic Church wa Mwamba? Bishop utabofyo winga unless on special extraordinary occasions. Ababa ali kibanda obale pisha mu mabimbi ndeeta mabimbi kwati filia Yesu alipa mumana elwa mabimbi aima Yesu aletwe but be still, I'm with you. Mabimbi ayakatalala. He never bishop band and by UPND muleko kutuma abantu kwisa mkunje bati mijoine. Because there is no way you can be persecuting the people who looked after me for the first time in the history of Zambia. Ba bishop ba kumongo. And stayed mass mu prison omonadi. Ba bishop banda adik bandoro na fumine mu prison. Ba ishirengu fisho mwana. Mule tumama emissaries kuno. One day I na ma emissaries nke afisa fumishe mpwa. And the one who be a victim first is my own sister, the deputy SG. You can't be persecuting the faith I believe in. And mune tumama emissaries kuno. Tomorrow, ba Mwamba, bantu ninchwa tukuka baka fuafo. No mbaina be patient. I will not go there. Bantu nga banjikata. Tapadi ukashara alinga fuakuno. Abana bose bachikula. Otherwise, it's sad. Ababale konkusha pafifuba. Balerand and I haven't heard. Inabona ishiba. Ababamu good understanding with the church. Is my sister Doreen Mwamba. Bag tamba na mumfo balerandako. It's better you keep quiet. And imomweba church to believe mu Catholic doctrine, please. Ikaleni tondolo, and as I conclude, Sidana landire. Ukweba tishina mabadi aba Doka's mother. Shirashadi donated. Because a precedence has been set, they will also be cautioned one day. Ngapakeso muntu uwabipo mutima. Ishinda alama my own church batata Jordan badi beshiba ba mayo. Naimwe bene ba UCZ, naimwe bene bakami kushapantu ni gift. So as I conclude, ama churches lekeni kupoka ama gifts because a bad precedent has been set. Thank you, Tata Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that call.
Hello?
Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ine Chalwe.
Bachalwe landeni po.
Emkwa. Ino kubakwena ndalala ndafipa pafyo muntu nokuteko kwako buli. Ngamwalesha kunu ngoku ali kete bashima pepo bamu. Ku kitwe. Abalera ndira kwa bina tisokone.
Thank you.
Abatwala mu kifungo la muntu. Nukuya abapera kula kuno kwa ikala abalaba amma hardcore criminals. Eko abasunkirisha. Ndi abasunkirisha kudya balabantu bali basile subject fintu fya rubana sana. Futi afumapo abena Zambia bamwene kwatira chintu chaka udashima pepo. Pano maya hivyo asa ekatana bambi bashima pepo kundola ale shamenchi ukumona machechefe yala chita react. Pano maya hivyo asengelera nomba kuti basanje sinyangwe bali kwata iliyo overnight yo bakwata chira mwaka pa 20 mu October na yena ilya ayimika alesha nomba alesha amoni abakwati gimiki akwata kwati nifidefi abenkalamu nkalamu ngashiri ngombe nangula babafaro ngabali abengi teti nkalamu ipala dune but buffalo nga musesha mutwala rwalivi uda buffalo ninja ruso moyo efi aresta ne change iche alishiko kweba iche kwalemerera na umwina Zambia onse abutukira ku change nga akwata ama problems haya kulamo nokutuleta pamo tapabechi tuleta pamo kuchire change no muntu wonse fyaba aidha panganda nangula kwisa arolesha ku change afira kwata kushuma pepo mu owabutukira ko kwebati kwena mwe wabomfi bamfumu ninko atogo afya wa msangwefi umugomfi wa mfumu lyalala ndapo amashui kulingana n'ekipingo kyo kyalanda na bulogo afya bwa abusotinga nomboyu muntu uyu ale ni flafine bashuma pepo balandi kwati ichinama ichikali nachingira murupanga chirefu ayo kukona ola eisiare story muntu ngatatumuike tapapeni apo kwebati misango yakwe tuime tuikatane tuibwe keshe ko ifiri okuba ichalo chino chikashupa because bakatolika ifo bonse fwe ba reita ifo ba pente ifo ba shan ko afuma mu katolika foundation ya ma churches yonse mu Zambia tuyilekerera ba bishop baye baliwe uluyibeka ului tewaba bishop ulu bwa Zambia abena Zambia bonse konse ko bali kuisa weda uli azonga zuitatu na Zambia ima ukayerwa ului kuila pamona ba bishop ali kibanda tapali fo bachitire yo kulingana vino muntu akwatamano nangu na chira mono turumendo na twikala tulera nde sungu chisungu chiraba echibalera tabali muno kuntanji olokula nde chisungu takula ndokuba wali kwatamano na kalya yo chisungu fye bati muntu akwatamano chalanda fina muchibemba ine ndalanda abantu ngaisa mukwenjere chintu ndalanda fenjebe no ichi chintu landa fina muchibemba na mundi language imbi yo nalaumva azonga azwafika pali point Siraba naba echibachi bakolonga nkabambo kulanda echisungu balaela ndesi tatulelanda ti rule of law takuwa no one is above the law but ever tulelanda vya kwebati then kufile kwa bafira beta consistency not yunga achita baba kwati tapalisi lipo bambinga wachita kiyole tuto munwe kusuma iyo baneyo na tuime chitinta ngombe mailo kye tu support ba bishop nokulingana unokumono kwebati uyu mulandu walala n'oyu muntu aleko kikata ku church because church esubiro Yesu church emwando Yesu church epa na Zambia oro era tusenteka ulabushkwasa ima abakwata aletala likomulonga ale bepa abantu ati yo ndiye chitafemu Zambia as a Christian nation. Ubushikubo uwa konkapo aya asume church no need to support Christian nation. Ubu mukuru wo shatala mona ko ni ko na afya. Afuire bupwe.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. There are so many calls. Let's see if we can get the other calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Banela Ndenipo.
Ambassador, ine chile mpapusha sana. Chakwebati, valela ndo kwebati. No, fuile tuwa kunde. Nomba, nga tuwalolesha kwa mamija ya, tuwalolesha abantu abalirenda mashuwa yabi. Bali bashipe pero balekanya abantu kunjika bashipe padibena nababura abantu bambo kulanda amashiwa ya biro ambassador nga twaroni sana ukorera kunu mugwa kwa bena Kristo tufire twa encouragement wakateka na mbano bali kontere body of Christ kulanda kwa useless day of prayer muntu nshomwena Kristo nga kontero mugwa okushikwa kwalisa second bali landira amashiwa ya kwebati avena Kristo vananana avena lyonse bafwa yokupepa tonse tukarera ngata Genesis nokwina Kristo ta upatire ulyonse oarandira kwabekala chalo wakateka bene barandira kweba tuleke okura fusamina muma page twarambo kumisenda one by one nombanga twamone fintoko filerola again wa bishop uroba basali yokwebati bala bali bametiete apakati kaba the relative president yota turashika mukulanishanya kwa kushika emite tilasa baba sonda wa bishop wa kati ili ashiria moto kalyavuka ili ile baba romba teba rarandira ko icho bali ishibyo kwebati ba bishop bali iminira pachinga na manju wakalanishanya nabo yachinga yakarengo kwebati bakateka beka paramira mukushupa family so bali chiringenye bareta kwe chimfurunganya before ba bishop tabara ikara na panshu kwebaze miteta wonse na bamuruzi wonse balya babika mwe chimfurunganya mukuchita attack ba bishop paka ba bishop romba pale vintu fyafurungana wonse balya abantu abalingire mukulanshanya babebere aho apata pali kulanshanya kwali ba bare sta attack umuntu akurangira ko rukwa kanshi wonse tatwabemo Same people vachita publisher no. Vamuruzi na vachita propaganda yeka na vachita withdraw. But nishina veshivana source. So apa va ambassador ndetse tafe encourage mwina Kristo ndi once. Chiri pali va bishop chiri pali iwe. Mwana nyoko tulera Christianity walefo okuibona ola. Ababa le tuteka tabafa yo mwina Kristo. Tuma mwana fye mufichitwa na mufitwalo. Ngachako bati bali temwa mwina Kristo te twachite attack ba bishop. Ba bishop teo bare attack Christianity. Christ because ba bishop pama Christians bonse intunguru chipali no chita Mozambique bashere nabi. Aba bonse bali bawisha, bonse ba SDA bali bawisha tabako ataneshi. Ba SDF bali akare nafe bali pali no chita. Yapusana ba United defa bali akare bali bawisha. Bashere fyo kuwisha nomba Roman Catholic bala iwisha shani. Babike chintinya bali ba shuma people because ngachako bati kukonka law gatwai pusha. Na first part umuntu wa Australia motoka ushebali muita oro arumbra nomba ba bishop basanga fshiri direct tiba churukira shani kwali ba investigation itoroka pakati elio tu oro bapokele ya onara pusha ba ambassador mutula elio bapokele ya motoka kuri ba bishop bachita release bapokele fena bashiba tata pali ifya bakongere bako bati ba bishop bachita release la motoka no kuisunga yonse inshitaba repoka ya motoka tabai puisho kwe bati ushe motoka ibare mona bali ishiba fyonse motoka po yainde fyonse ne fshinga bali kwa tanoma ba bishop fishing kanshi bakaranda pali motoka ifi yakuchira pa fshinga bakwata because zoro bare poka ila motoka bali kwate fshinga ne nshira motoka yaindere mo bali ishiba nomba chishi kanshi chimbi chikachira pa fshinga bakwata mu paper yabo nokusunga yo motoka po baisungira I don't know 6 months umurando wako bati bare fa batara likabena Kristo so bali rolesha niwe inshtwara titira moto aragula o pali motoka twara pange mingarato so ndero mba kufyabena Kristo ino inshtama koti Yesu bali be mingarato ama sivo NGO za haya no bali yashitakali teti ya mirani ndireko bali ino inshtafwebena Zambia katu sarapuke ture irandira ko ninshira nshitwinga irandira ko ni no opportunity nga yaisa ya kuiminira kwentunguru shishenzo opo mperere wa ambassador.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, there is a decision by the Lusaka Archdiocese that there is a special mass at 8 hours at the Cathedral of Child Jesus. Will you attend? Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, it's Daniel from Cape Town.
Daniel, make your contributions.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
My contribution is Ababa Adengan that the Bishop Nava is not above the law and is calling people to go with him. The bishop could have been told to be above the law, but in my opinion, the bishop never to be interviewed. But my opinion is the people who has called the bishop is the people he doesn't trust. That is the contention that is there. So, I'll take my household. Nararanda kuri bamata mbandi njo na ya kuri uliaka antwa uliatwa ruidena. Alemfwaya baletwa ku police. Naraiva no mwana. Nombanga nakana ti kulyanshaka yeko tapali efyo munganchi tainenga mlefwa muisi tapali oko mukaya. I'm a Catholic. Then I'm thinking I'm above the law. But the bishop has accepted. So even that no is not above the law is what? It's not that. It's what who is going to stay there. We don't know what they are planning. So he's telling the people, the Catholic people, that he is found among 35 soccer players. baraita bariabena abantu basangwa nabo in this question niva Catholic obo ema evantu babana. Then the question of the vehicle, my surprise is, one, it's said to be a gift. What I know with the little knowledge I had, no one questions the gift. Oro muntu kwete best party, abantu baramuletera ama gifts ayengi. You can't go one by one, uyofumishe kuisa. Iwe ngechuwa ndetera wafumishe kuisa. You receive gifts because in what I know, even maybe I would mention America. If you want to run away from tax, you give money, a lot of money as a gift. No one will tax you in that instance. So if that vehicle was bought by the bishop, yes, we would question to say, but bishop, because when you are buying a car from someone, you ask where he got parabanama paper, if it's brand new, but second hand, ama papers yakwe, nekwa information, you have all the details. In case you are not given all those washed, and then later on, police are in possession with a stolen property. They will question you to say, that is by law, and you get the identity of the person. No, by the car in question, who changed the ownership of the vehicle? Who take over change the ownership? So we know through clearance, motor was not cleared and everything. Meaning the authorities were changing, everything was okay. Yes, there were papers that were not signed. It's negligence. The procedure. So me, the only thing, when you come to me receiving a gift that is not properly documented, I'll give it back to you, and the case ends there. I'll point to a person who gave me the vehicle to say, internal issue. But now we must make this point clear to say the bishop is not afraid to go to death. He is afraid of the people that are calling him. They've been Ukulandaranda, he's been called names, he can't freely go there. Vareshana no Kshana Dona, Isakudeki, Narava Fenaroya, Narachitashani. No. When an enemy calls you, you announce to say, enemy. Even David, when we were fighting with Goliath, there were supporters for Goliath and for David. Takwave chintu icha kuleficho ungaya fyoweka baya bakukomena na murumu. Abakwate vyanso vyonse vyabuteko ngabakweva kulya kuino kwa tero na tukuikata pandu wala chitaso owakusaina police bond katushinga ni peo barasanga tali kwa likumufumbwe kuma election waikala madezi uko kuino. We've seen it happen. So berabe party the bishop is not above the law. Yes, we know he's not above the law. Hence, he's going there to be questioned. But the people who are calling him is what we are scared of. Not we shiva pari.
Yes, I am.
Abena nani aba ichabena why me uva kanina mapeo badi chitashan. Those are simple people. But this is a bishop who is supposed to, he's got people under him, personal secretary and everything, who handle those things. If maybe there is even a media team who's supposed to announce to the media what is going through. So the Rabe party is not above the law. We know it's not above the law. And the Catholic is a big church. They've got doctors, they've got word and everything. They can't allow ngapali umulandu Catholic ngabaliranda yo babanda mulimweka. But we've seen Catholic priests who've been arrested. The Catholic has never been involved. So nabonga na babalika not now to be with them who take over UPN Dibwache kulingana na people that are educated in Catholic. So vateka nyefi, but me I'm happy they've started with the Catholic. Thank you very much, Mr. Mo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and make your contribution. Make your contribution.
Oh, yeah. Bishop Navaveta kulia kuteki to avoid noisy shani filia chetuleke fivae vabe kushe ero nomba tumono fuchara kawa tapa so tingambo kula tukana filia shani tafireranga unit filia so tietu vasuminishe fivae mutende vabe kushe. Then from there we shall see what will happen next. That's all. It's an agent that investigate everything. So there's nothing we can do currently. So let us just allow the process to take place. Then for now, let us just put him in prayer that everything goes well on his side. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador Mwamba, my name is Uncle J.
Uncle J, make your contributions.
Thank you very much that you've consistently brought this issue, and most of the Zambians are being enlightened to the things that are taking place in our country. I've stated before that this issue of Archbishop Banda can actually be traced through in the past to what he has gone through, the way he's been attacked by UPND. This thing has nothing to do with the rule of law or the process of the law. This is total persecution of an individual on the account that this person was somehow in good standing with the late President Edgar Lungu. This is what this is. It has nothing to do with the rule of law. It has nothing to do with the issue of this vehicle. This vehicle is very clear. Why not prosecute the person that gifted him that vehicle? If it is found that this person had an issue or he stole that car, then you have the reason and the right to say, let's call the bishop. Even then, that vehicle was even handed over to DEC. So this one is very clear. UPND has had a roadmap, and their aim is really to target. They hate the Catholic Church. That is the truth. It's not something that is debatable. Everyone knows that the fact that our president is SDA somehow, the fact that UPND does not like the Catholics, even the way they speak, the arrogance, you can really tell from the way he speaks. To borrow his word, you can actually feel and touch the venom that comes from them, that this is personal hatred against Alik Banda and the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church is the voice that has remained, that he speaks and is independent. When they speak, they don't behave like these other Pentecostal, churches. The moment they are given a brown envelope, they are there praising. The Catholic have stood the test of time. They have provided education. They have fed the poor. They have provided medical services. So they want to silence them. And the moment they silence them, then they feel they can do whatever they want. That is the only voice that has remained in Zambia. The NGOs have been silenced, but the Catholic is the last defense standing for Zambia. Parliament is useless as things stand. So that is the only voice that can speak for the voiceless. So this issue is targeted, and they know what they are trying to do and where they want to go with it. But it will not work, because we will not let them. We Catholics are strong. We Catholics stand for our position. We know what we believe in, and we understand what justice is. This is injustice at its core. He's dealt with almost everyone, the opposition and everyone. Now he wants to target the church. It shall not work, and will not allow him. This is the end of this government. I thank you, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Hello, please call for your contribution. We're discussing tomorrow. The Lusaka Archdiocese has called for a special mass at 8 hours. At 8 hours. Keep time. And the state is trying to put it that it's a matter of rule of law, but the Archbishop have seen through it. This is not a matter of rule of law. So make your contributions. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, I'm calling you from Lusaka, James.
James, make your contributions.
Yes, my contribution, Mr. Ambassador Mwamba,
Thank
is
you.
that when you look at the call out that they have made overtake, it's a call out that they are trying to investigate this so-called dialects issue. So we as a Christian, me, I'm Catholic myself, I will people that I'm associating with to say, when we have such kind of things within the church or within the country, let us involve prayers. Some things, they can only be concluded through prayers. So if we don't involve prayers like
So there is a special prayer, my brother, that has been called. Yeah, there is a special prayer that has been called at 8 hours. Are you coming? Hello? Oh, we lost our caller. You're saying we should involve prayers. I encourage him to go to the church service that the church has called at 8 hours tomorrow at the Cathedral of Child Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing the call out to Archbishop Banda by the DEC. The bishops, Conference of Catholic Bishops, have stated that this is an attack on the church, and they've seen through the persecution that Archbishop Alec Banda has gone through, and they know that it's not a matter of rule of law. They know that this is not an issue that is sincere. That is why they issued that strong, very strong pastoral letter. Oh, the line is cut again. You can make your contribution again and
Malaiti na lelo kulibe fertilizer famasa kwanisa bati uza ati kwenyu sembete.
Hey, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Missionary Andi Nevo Msanje.
Yes, my brother.
Ilili ashili ndeko seresha fye bakatolika bonse mwe baba mu Lusaka iseni twime tie tukoseleshe bashima pepo beso akapyunga
tuyunfuira abafe balelanda rule of law balanda pweshitali lyonse tuse rule of law babene balifirwa okwikonka bakateeka abene beeka balifirwa okukonka rule of law in that iririni apa bafumine mukupasinga constitution illegally ishali iyasuminishiwa ukulingana n'ekyo olupapulo lwakyalo lwaba. So law of law it should apply selectively. So we don't actually agree with this law of law, and we actually hold the view as Catholic that this is basically an attack on the Catholic Church and nothing else. So we encourage all the Catholic faithfuls, let us turn up in numbers, attend Mass in the first place, and then offer solidarity to our Archbishop. Zambia is bigger than UPND. Zambia is bigger than any of these people that are trying to destroy our country. Let us stand up for our country. Let us stand up for our nation. If we allow UPND to continue behaving the way they are behaving, there will be no one left to speak for the poor and the marginalized. The Catholic have stood for the poor. The Catholic have built schools for the poor. The Catholic have built hospitals for the poor and have always fed the poor. So UPND cannot be the one to stop what the Catholic have always been doing. We Catholics stand for justice. We stand, for the rights, human rights of everyone in the country. So this one, we should know that this one is persecution. The moment they are done with Bishop Ali Banda, they'll go to another one who will be speaking. So who knows? We need to stop it now, and we need to end it now. Let them know that we are bigger and we are united. We are a law-abiding organization or church. I thank you, Mwamba.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you for your contribution. Hello, caller, please. Please, caller, make your contribution. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Name's Tembo Josephat. Mwamba, when you look at Proverbs chapter 29, hello?
Oh, the caller is... my dear brother, you got cut.
Yes, Ambassador.
Yes, you were saying?
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 12.
Yes.
It says, if he listens to lies, all his officials become wicked. We have seen it all, and this is what is happening. We have a lot of reports that have come out. The fake report is there. Why hasn't the DEC arrested such people that were involved in such? So, just like the callers have said, to say this is a spiritual practice. Others, all the believers, tomorrow, let's be there. Let's be with Ali Banda. Let's go and worship with him in the morning. And to those that can manage, for sure, let's not be intimidated. Can we escort him to DEC? I think those are the remarks I wanted to contribute.
Thank you very much, my caller. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mwamba, this is Mwamba from Livingston, Bristol.
Tulifia bunova nation mwewe na Livingston. Make your contribution ba mwewa.
First of all, ndipo kushako prabekara charo. Gavarisha, and I'm sure I want to make cultural value for only that I am a problem to repeat my bishop now. Mwamba, what that I want to say is that in on the trailway, in on the more fight kasana courage. Number two, when I go for tea, Vekaracharo, not what the son of Mwenso. So I don't know that Tora Kwansho Kuru, but to Mwenso Avantu, I will not what the son of Mwenso. We all of us, we're trying to protect ourselves, but if we cannot defend others that are being oppressed now, so ndero mbako fabekara charo kubo kutira tino turi mu election ye uri omwenso twakwete. I think uri omwenso ufiri wambo kufuma, especially that we have seen one of the biggest scandals vachitabana kana avare to take away kuchinja constitution by force. Machechi yari kana ama civil organizations yari kana. I mean, the whole country yari kana amendment bill number 7, but ali patikisha pakayapita. So abantu funde munanga approach into, they will make sure that they are going to score their goal. So abantu ngana baranduko bati bishop wali kibanda barakakwa, and for sure that pre-ministers Zambian because ifunde ero tokare muna mukwatira ara tuchingirira ifunde lyali chinja ifunde tulebo mfya ifunde lyabo. So where we expect to receive justice in such scenarios is quite difficult, and that can be deflected when you think of how, for example, Honorable Rafon Nakachinda was imprisoned on the first charges. Neiya nombali neiya ya ututu wa kubwengo, because ututu wa kubwengo tapali umlandulonse. But the thing is, objective work with Nakachinda flying out. So whether we do what, ngaraba planetary area. So part of Bishop Pena, mwebekara charo ndero mbako. Let us come in large numbers, because Bishop badiri labalanda balia. And then the other thing Mwamba, if unamonako a bit of what can I say? A bit of the advantage kufe bachitaba babe namagai zabali mu government is that when about bishop, when about munakwati basebanya ba bishop. But what they haven't realized is that they have triggered international scrutiny, and Bishop Ali Kibanda, bantu fevaria, but Bishop Ali Kibanda is an institution, and therefore protection yavo, it is beyond Zambia. It is beyond Zambia because it's a body of Christ. So what they have done on the other hand is that they have invite the international community to fight for us, which is an advantage, because everyone now is interested to know what is going to happen to Bishop Ali Kibanda and the Catholics. The moment
Bamwewa sondweleleni
balanda. So even there's no amount of money that you can bribe a true bishop at the expense of a land. So it is something that UPND must know. And then the other thing that is that I want to spectate out by Mwamba is that but Dr. Ali Kibanda, a bishop, is actually PhD in Camp Law.
because he's a lawyer by profession. He's a lawyer, he knows the law. So we're taking advantage of anything. And I'm just calling upon Zambians, Mairo, let us go in large numbers, Mwamba, and support our Bishop, Dr. Aliki Banda, the Archbishop of Lusaka.
Thank you very much. Tomorrow, Monday the 5th, a special service has been called, a special solidarity mass that will be held at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus on Alikinkata Road. The government today, led by the Minister of Home Affairs, Jack Mwimbu, and they even lined up civil society groupings to allege that this is a matter of rule of law and it's a matter of ordinary investigations, that Archbishop Alik Banda is not above the law and therefore he should report, and he should report alone, that he shouldn't go with anyone. The Conference of Catholic Bishops, very educated, very eminent men who know our country, who fought for our country, who thrive to keep our country in peace and in unity, have said this is not an ordinary process of the law. This is an abuse of the law. They've clearly put it in no uncertain terms that this is an attack on the church and on her leadership, her bishops. So there's no fooling around. It has been made very clear. In the past, it has been established. There's an established pattern by President Hakainde Hichilema that, number one, he's using the law to punish political opponents, that is using the law to take over seats of his opponents, that is using the law to steal political parties. It has been established that the president is using the law to punish opponents and is forcing opponents to agree to the use of the law against them, that it is a rule of law when it is not the rule of law. He's abusing the Constitution, he's abusing the law. Like I keep on giving the analogy of the thief. When the thief storms into your house, burgles into your house as a gun, they want to do it. They want you to obey what they will say. They want peace, they want calm, they want you motionless, they don't want you to respond, and they threaten violence on you. This is what President Hakainde Hichilema. He doesn't believe in the Constitution. He keeps on breaking it. He doesn't believe in the law. And consistently, the last 4 years, he has abused the law to punish political opponents. It's in that light that everyone has seen that this is not an ordinary call to the DEC. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, good evening, Emmanuel Mwamba. This is Bruce, and good evening to you.
My dear brother, make your contributions.
Yes, please. Emmanuel Mwamba, this is the first Zambia, the sad day for Zambia, because that now Zambia is on the crossroads, meaning that Zambia is fighting a spiritual battle, which means that all Zambians should rise and fight this battle. This is not a battle for Bishop Alik Banda, no. It's about Christianity, which is being infringed by the forces which are fighting for Zambians. If Zambians can rise and defend the Christian morals, no matter how these people may try to force the darkness forces to bring and do Zambia, nothing will surpass the greatness of God Almighty. We all need to stand in the gap and pray for Christian values being held to high levels. What's happening now is a fallacy. The Pentecostal churches have been bribed. They can't stand. The only church is standing up now is on the Catholic. The Catholics are the ones who are fighting for the forces of the darkness out of Zambia. We should stand as togetherness and embrace love, which can border beyond borders. I submit.
Thank you very much. You need to recognize that we have an election coming up in August. We have an election that President Hakainde Hichilema has demonstrated desperation to get his second term, with or without the use of the law. He has abused the Constitution. He has amended the Constitution without following the law. He has banned the largest political party in the country, the Patriotic Front. He wants the second term at all cost, and is rampaging and damaging everyone who's standing in the way, including Archbishop Alik Banda. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is the Bravo Chanda calling from Livingstone.
Please switch off the other device. We can hear feedback.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Thank you.
Mwamba,
Nami poshe chakwambira po.
Endita.
Poshana vekaro na poshana vekara charo kunsabari kuno ku Zambia. Mzambia mamaneka kwati nakalimo. Chile chalo chakwe vati bali abale HTFV. Obwefundirire chita protect. Bali abantu abasoma baya. Ebo bali focus asa place. Abantu abangana mbalolekesha bwino sana efe bali chitaba. Bali pita mu filongari no fionse. Gabape pafera fine bashako impia bachitaso bachitakoso. Namba mwashwa kwari botuma chechi tunono tuma chechi to abantu. Totoka bati ngabampera 10,000 kwasha. Tofa okushitshe charo. Awe charo echi abengi bati kapo. Topata ma president katuisha pamane 37. Mbanga mamona bena ngana be mino kuranda lyonse barando gwe bati. Bena na bachita achieve if abana abo abateka po from 1964 abachita. But ngamando rekesha ngalera ndeta kwati bari kalifya fya abantu because lu overall baranda iri pesa. Ngamando rekesha omuntu washitire motoka ali kuisa muri history because washitire motoka ufire bareranda nangwe. Uro muntu yalife ni gift. So gift ya muntu ngapokelera afira mbokora kusta interrogate batinge chwampera au imperechi bishana ubeya bachite bishashanja chosenga mama na firo da ku 14 but ndikudu ndibala abantu bakwe they have come too excited such that nabali ko kutontonkanya because umuntu ukwete nankani ukwete mu ifya kusta muri ririashi muntu wastere motoka nokupera bishop mba bishop aba pokerere fire mambo kura batinya mambo kura bachitashani awe charo tifo chifire chabechi so mwenso nga watwarira ba Mwamba onse bakatushimya tukaratamba fe charo mure kushobena barira ndipo bakateka besuko bokwe bati ero bare chitama amende ama constitution mwe bantu bambi mwalife zi manje ngana chitako ambindi murefu aya mure sta demonstrate mure chitama ma protest sofu barefu afya kwa watu bonse batukwanisha kukala zi so adanga bareti tikisha aba bishop ifo tufire tina bonse turerengera fye so ati bambo kustefu barefu ambe chare chikwade abachirwirire abafuirire popa kutirero ko Zambia so if it means that barambo kwipa abantu then favore tuipa ifi because at the end of the day echaro chifugire chaba charo chabantu bonse 10 provinces of the country not 2 provinces imata 2-4. I think that's not very fair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller. The issue is that it's not about the rule of law, and our bishops have seen through it, and many of us have seen through it. It has nothing to do with the law. This process against the Archbishop of Lusaka has nothing to do with the law, because if you examine the details, this matter was opened, investigated, and closed, and the letter was written by the lawyer for the Archbishop to DEC. DEC knows the details, but they want to use this particular matter to harass and humiliate the Archbishop. Is the Archbishop above the law? No, he's not above the law. Can the Archbishop be investigated? Yes, he can be investigated. So what is happening is that there is an abuse of the process. There is an abuse of a president who's uncomfortable with the largest church in Zambia. He wants to diminish its strength. He wants to diminish its influence as he seeks his second term. For Archbishop Alik Banda is a victim because this president assumes that he was very close to the late president, who is his arch enemy even in death. To death, President Edgar Lungu has not been put to rest. President Lungu's wishes were that the Archbishop should be the one to superintend and to say mass, to say a sermon on his funeral. And President Hakainde Hichilema would not stomach that, and he would not allow the funeral to take place for those two reasons. And President Hakainde Hichilema has demanded that Archbishop of Lusaka be removed. So he's beginning a process where he thinks that he can embarrass the church, and Vatican then can move to remove the Archbishop from Lusaka, because he wants silence as he steals the 2026 elections. See through it. See what he has done. See what he did to the man of God, Webster Chabe, Dr. Webster Chabe, who was SDA president on the Copper Belt, just for saying a sermon that was candid, powerful, and biblical. See what he did to Dr. Simuchimba, who was locked up for 9 months just for defending the cause of traders. See what he's doing. Remember, he began investigations on the UCZ, accusing it of having received money from the late president. They had no idea that that synod was built by ordinary UCZ members. He investigated some SDA pastors who he felt were close to Ronald Chitotela in Luapula province. We are aware of how they were called to the police, how they were investigated. We are aware. There were some pastors that were summoned in Kitwe for having received gifts from Joseph Malanji. He's been very persistent. Yet, President Hakainde Hichilema is on a gifting spree. Every week he's giving 800,000 kwacha to who, he's giving a bus to who, he's giving a car to who. I was seeing a story where he's spending $18 million to buy our traditional authorities motor vehicles. Isn't it a bribe? Isn't that a bribe? That you're going to elections and you want to buy all the chiefs the motor vehicles? Aren't you using public money to bribe the chiefs? $18.2 million that he has set aside to buy money for all the traditional chiefs. So let me take the last 5 or so calls, then we close the program. And we hope that tomorrow you will be at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus at 8 hours. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Alpha Buduma Bombeni. Is who? Sorry, you were faint. Who's calling? Okay, make your contribution, my brother.
I hope Yala sustain. You know, I'm not making connection. And I could tell them this friend of mine, but so when you could come with my own noisy, sometimes you could come and I'm people. Okay, so you want to do. So now, in most of those people, a lot of people, where a lot of preaching I think it's the Catholic. It was the true part of the Catholic. Catholic, that's carrying the new people. So now I kept the one and I kept asking myself, you say, Rama, people don't say that. Actually, male or something. No, these are the things that happen. Oh, okay. You tell me one of the what? And the person who was preaching that was the Zambian leader. Should have been a Zambian priest. As a priest in place now. So now, the preaching that he had also preached on the Catholic people in the Vatican. So today, I'm just going to or just going to say, the one thing to share between the Catholic and the sorry, Mwamba, I'm not attacking the estimation. I'm just trying to have an understanding. I'm just thinking. I think there's just something which is there in the experience, which we don't know. Some of us will never be into it. No wonder we are seeing this school is there, the fact that in the Catholic. Today I was watching the live worship, and I got one thing from Archbishop. I'm remember the fact in our prayer. Then after prayer, let's go together. Whatever will happen, will happen. We'll go to your water, we'll move, anything that will sustain us. One thing that we can't do away with is the act of God himself to populate. We will go with him. Whatever will happen, people will come up to prayer. Forget that none of us is that. And afterwards, whatever Mwamba is from.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's a matter that we all shy away to discuss, but Professor Jones Kasonso has been very insistent that we should look at President Hakainde Hichilema in the prisms of an elder at the Seventh-day Adventist. And the Seventh-day Adventist have a latter-day prophet called Ellen G. White, who's a co-founder. She was a woman who's a co-founder of the Seventh-day Adventist movement. In her preaching and her write-ups, she asserts that the papacy and the Catholic will eventually ally with the United States, and they will enforce a universal Sunday law, which Adventists believe is a beginning of the mark of the beast. At the core of the belief is that the Pope will be, is a beast that is referred to in Revelation 13, verse 1 to 10, and that the Roman Catholic papacy, he becomes the Antichrist. There's issues of the national Sunday law that the papacy, the Catholic, will ally with the U.S., to form that alliance. And then, this is part of the end time messages that they preach. Ask any Adventist. I've got a lot of friends who are Adventist. So Professor Kasonso is saying, if you have a president who's an Adventist, who goes to church every Saturday and is told that the Catholic and the Pope are the Antichrist, what view will he have towards that church? He's now president with that antipathy feeling against the church, because every Saturday when they go, they are taught about the books of Ellen G. White and end messages and why they've picked Saturday as Sabbath. So when people begin to say President Hakainde Hichilema has just not divided us using ethnicity and tribe, he's also now dividing us, because here is an Adventist who claims he's an elder, which church has a lot of write-ups about the role of the papacy and the Catholic Church in their end-time messages, in their books, and they believe that an Antichrist will emerge from this church. What will be his disposition towards the Catholic Church? So even when Jack Mwimbu or Nelson Banda says we are Catholic, we can't attack the church, your president goes to a church that has in its central message end time prophesied, and the end time, according to the latter-day prophet Ellen G. White, accuses the papacy of being the Antichrist. What will be his disposition? I know a lot of people don't want to discuss it. I know a lot of people want to think that this is very sensitive. But in our core beliefs as Christians, there's something that the Jehovah's Witness also preaches, aligning the Catholic Church to some end message. There's something that the Adventists also preach in detail using the books of Ellen G. White. Maybe we should have a subject singularly on this to understand if this matter is in any way influencing President Hakainde Hichilema to be this hostile towards the Catholic Church. Is it arising from his disposition and his beliefs as an Adventist? Could it be the reason why he's very hostile, or why he would allow the Catholic Church to be insulted? Could it be the reason? We want to Akwalisa. That will need a topic on its own. I will explore. But our country, unfortunately, is being divided on the basis of tribe and on the basis of religion. When I have learned, being here in the U.S., that the Adventists here have now been more conciliatory, dropping those not dropping, but not talking about those fundamental beliefs that were advocated for by Ellen G. White, and in relation to the papacy and the prophecy, how the papacy will align with the U.S. government to enforce the Sunday law and to enforce, part of the end time message and what Revelation says about the Antichrist. Okay, I think we've gotten all the cause.
And no one will take away that. They may have their own weaknesses and whatever failures, but they brought that and we are happy about it. We don't want to go back to one party. There came the PF. They brought patriotism. It's in their name. Patriotic Front. Patriotism. That desire for you to have the love for your nation and support things that have to do with your nation. If they missed out, it's their own fault. But they are a group of people who are patriotic. If you knew Michael Sata, I'm sure you know about that. You know about that. Very patriotic. Here we are now with you, PND. What shall we remember you for? Remember, governments come and go. Very soon, you will also be in history. And people will be reading the records of your time. What will people remember you for? Before you beat about everywhere, go back to your name. Your giant is in your name. Unity and national development. And national development is so broad. Unity is also so broad. Dig into that and ensure by the time you are leaving the stage, we can point at national developmental features, things that you will have left for the nation, not for your pockets, not for individuals, but for your nation. We have heard stories of politicians who hide their wealth even outside the country. Please, your passion must be for this country. If you have amassed a lot of money, build infrastructure here. Don't go to Dubai and build there. We have heard of politicians who have done that. But UPND, yours is national development. Put up things that will be monumental for future generations. Let me end by saying, from you, our leaders, we need honesty and confidence. We need that.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. We are about to close.
Ambassador, ni vamukongena mvera fepano ninkwata kwa mepusha ndifo kuipushako. Ambassador, ili ashiria kwebati nongano about the law. Ya mfuika sana nombaine nje ipushako. Ushe ilio bishop waishiringa tasamu pa festi. Tabakonkere fundi kwani tunene bali konkere fundi pakwebati babapokera gift yo baba pere by pokai ya gift, which means you fundi ya bomba namba pa bushikuwa mairu bambaso dali mbitu mwasawa clarify pa no ushabantu apabalera nda no one above the law ni shipesa ba bishop bare tabare konke fundi apa.
Thank you Nalaya Suka. Okay, if there is any other caller, please call quickly so that we close the program. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Michelo.
Yes,
I'm
Michelo.
calling from Mwamba. So, we are just appealing. Mwamba first, we push election in Mwamba.
And Tamayo Barishani.
How to totally program to you for I think it by son, but now we just want to appeal to the women in Lusaka, the Catholic Women Organization. So they come at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus, basing quite in numbers. We know they are able to do it. And that quarter seminary and fund Vale Save Kitchen Town. Today, all the women in Lusaka to come at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus so that we give solidarity to our bishop, His Grace the Archbishop of Lusaka. Bantu kuina vachula vachitamu kufumepo vangira installation for social media. Ero chibibyo chakwe vati even abantu like chifadayali nga vati valandi kuti watini vakatolika ava. You know, you start wondering, is he a Catholic or it's because of money that he can sell his own person? You know, when we talk about Chela Tukuta, he's Catholic. He's ever marooning at St. Ignatius Parish. But when he insults like, you know, he doesn't even know the hierarchy of the Catholic Church. But Vanamayo, we can do it. Vanamayo in Lusaka is saying it in their monde. He's saying, all we are doing is we do not want the government to separate the bishop from his flock. We do not want that to happen. The bishop is the bishop. He can't be a bishop without his flock. So we want to be there for him. Today to be His Grace Archbishop Banda. Tomorrow they'll go to Archbishop Ignatius Chama. They'll say, no, it's Ignatius Chama we are looking for, not the Archbishop. Tomorrow, the other day, they'll be Bishop Green. The other day, no, we are going to Maza, it's Bishop Chisanga we want. No, it's Bishop Mlenga we want. It's Bishop Kasondi we want. At the end of the day, the Catholic Church will be nowhere. It will be silent. But I know the Catholic Church cannot be silenced, no matter what the government wants. And we are urging Wanason Banda to the chair of the voice. It might be wrong, all right, if they are planning to poison His Grace the Archbishop. Wanason Banda, we know where you found Kuchilanga. We know the parish very well. If anything goes wrong with His Grace, you are Catholic. And if you are Catholic, you must know the Catholic hierarchy. And if you are Catholic, you know the canon law, what the law says. If you are Catholic, you know. If the question Mamabande push na foot natural push bushe iyamoto kanama invoice yaba missionary yaba banda because I'm a get partially showing on so vaingira moshani.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you for appealing to all the women to appear tomorrow. Thank you very much for your appeal to the women to appear tomorrow. Thank you very much. Government is trying very hard to make you believe that this is not about it's not about attack on the church. They want to demonstrate that this is just an act of rule of law, and they want you to accept. They want the bishop to go alone to DEC, and they don't want you to gather in any way. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Leandro. I'm calling from Monze.
Leandro, make your contributions.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, forgive me. Today I've been so emotional. It has been an emotional day for me.
Mm-hmm.
I cried like a baby. I'm telling you, my dear brother, Honorable Mwamba. I was asking myself to say, God of Venezuela, please visit Zambia. God of Venezuela, visit Zambia. Chama fecha wechi. Basi tupele feba Trump wale tuteka fipanta kwaba ero takwaka be pofile chitika Mozambique kwa tinari munifiumu ya ku Nigeria takwa ero boza mazambia tulifika tufima zombies tulifika tunifile pobeti mfula la tulokwa tapali no ule sakana mwelesa why we chara tupele feba Trump wasa tusende fefina ile ku Nigeria nomba triomfa pa Venezuela na kwa ya msenda SFM takwa bafe wose fe mazombizi akaya Zambians to aliranda not the way we are. cried today that God, why be in a Sunday? Why? Trump, visit Zambia, please. Take over our country. This is too much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwamba, this is Mumbitiri again.
Mkwaimayo.
You know, when I hear women calling, and I think Kula Benshita, when you share your own experience, Mwamba, don't be cheated. In all onadiku prison, my sister who is just from calling Kumonze. There was a parish. First, I didn't believe. Balen Kwatila Mass, Kumonze, when I was in prison. I met this young man who highlighted me when somebody was arrested over human trafficking, told me, let us not lose hope. Those who be able to go tomorrow, let us go in big numbers and took a fuale praying hands. If forever kwatama goroto pamayanda, let us pray from home and let's take this day fasting the whole day. It's so sad, Mwamba. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you very much. We are called tomorrow to attend the Cathedral of the Child Jesus. Please attend. I think we are ready to close the program. We will do another broadcast tomorrow just to review what would have happened in the day. And we will see you tomorrow.
At this point in time, as I've said already,
okay,
I have not come across a single man in politics who is today thinking of spreading Zambia.
Okay.
Apart from this, my man in Zimbabwe, this is the southern province. What is it? He tried to do that, I think, but he didn't succeed. This what is.
Okay, so we.
No, I think he will finish that one.
Okay.
This is my southern province. What is he? The man is running his party.
Which one? Magande?
No. Oh, no.
He comes from Southern Province.
Southern Province, yes. This man who is.
Okay, just hold on.
Hakainde Hichilema.
Hakainde
Hichilema.
Hichilema.
Hakainde Hichilema.
Who running this?
UPND.
UPND, that's right. Apart from that.
Okay, we seem to have our last caller. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Mwamba. I'm nameless.
Nameless, make your contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, anyway, to catch you when you are just finishing. Mwamba, therefore, I feel like preaching to Chimo, Ichikankala. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. I was very much attentive to hear from most of the callers, and of course, we know what's happening. Muchalo Jesu. Lero chonde fokula ndafucha kwebate. Zambia pailafika pabi. But ilino kufika pabi. Lelo parikano kashitanga cha kwebate. Natufunishe po mwenso. Ukwa kwebate. Twinga chita, twinga ya fuirisha. Mishtualale nge chalo Jesu chifike mbana pabi pishe sana. Na chumfa kudi a conference bachikwata the minister Jackie I don't remember the last name.
But Jack Mwimbo.
Bachipesha question with one of the journalists. Bebati. Elio Infumu Yesu ileteka padinimishta yale ya kumakoti na kuri fiance tabale yabeka bale bashindika nomba pali lelo icha chinja chinshi bachiranda mutsungi nenderanda muchibenda icha chinja chinshi pali lelo kwebati imomuleka nyokwebati twishindika imfumu Yesu bachisala ndokwebati ende miwekesha kunuma ifwe mfumu Yesu bale ishindika kwale fintu fya vipasana bakapokola bale chite fintu bisana ka kwale befya kwebe ifo fine fuka tulefoke batifinga bako nomba ine mumano yani na tsainga mwati bushe kwaliwa ukubule fintu fya kale mwafileta apa bene bafile fyo kwebati tukamichita protect kavieni bati savika pokwe bati bafile bapoka permit bakuya bafile bapoka permit inecho nsangira po bamwamba chakwe bati ni intimidation, ni distraction, and it's also a deliberate. Wala mibiko kulingana ngafilana ala ndimelo wala mibika mukulanda. Iyala banomba ni topic bule landa fye until another 3-4 months 6 months. La ficha tori ba skule eso baba tusha. So fue ba tifo tubuke. Twipato mwenso. Elo tu. Ba mama baba chisa landa. Before Tabalanda, Abambi Mama Balas, we shall come off about Trump. Why Trump? Why? Trump, Trump, we guess to Sunga for a benefit for a benny. Why Trump? Nabantunga Vale to Malay land the Fiaman, well, the fear if you have no Londoroka. Emma shouldn't get about twin, my lobe never change with the baby, lie. Pantukuja kuya fekuya wafasi infumu Yesu chapo. Emma shouldn't get Mwamba tote.
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Lero bwacha bakamba mu kyalo ky'esu kya Zambia ekyaweka enjoy. Abantu bafo bakamba kule kumunfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanya. People have died. Mumino yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government bagamba. Abductions have happened. Bagamba. If you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change big man. Fish to Arfianya Pakubika office. Fish to Arfianya. Why me? Missing. Achani Rubamwaicho and Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha bagamba. Tatwale kyo kulanda big man. Oh, you think? Maina watata. Zambia tuwasevana. Bagamba. Wanesa tuwapweni. Mujala tesu. Ichi ya Zambia. Tuwamona mwempwa. Bagamba. Tuwamona mwempwa. Nama abductions bagamba. Ubuteko tuwaleta. Wadulete lama amazala mush. No yukateka. Kola ipompa tureka. No yukateka. Apa nomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wenyu tayakwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Itayakwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mayona batata. Ba mayona batata. bayuthi tyentuisule amenso batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope yesu endika chagwalungu watwebela tinani mikwatila plan B nomba tuwalishiba plan B abamumino yakwalesa bantu banga abalafa muchalo chesu cha Zambia nibanga abantu abalaba abducted muchalo chesu cha Zambia bambire kuli jeje banda nibanga abantu abalaba mu prison abena chitotela chilangwa bonze baba prison netunguru shina shimbi muri one government yakwa ejeje abantu naba famweleza aikata nomba baikata kuyetika chakwa lungu atukwatile plan B abakubo byavyo mufulo big man mufulo ba mufulo binabine batsendela yetika chakwa apa nomba bane mufulo ba mufulo bakuvota bane mufulo ba mufulo bakufuatika mufulo ba mufulo bakufuatika mufulo ba mufulo kwenyu tayakwa kwe mufulo ba mufulo aikona man mufulo ba mufulo itayakwa kwe mufulo ba mufulo yakuliati kwenyu mufulo ba mufulo HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are